Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, xrhammer, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to build the Earth Shatter. Okay, a little beginner's guide on the Earth Shatter, which is one of the apprentice's towers in Dungeon Defenders 2. Okay, now let's just have a quick look at just a box standard Earth Shatter. Okay, now as you can see, I'll just click on there. He has nothing in his Ascension at all, right? And no relic, no shards, no nothing, right? Well, it does have that in there, but that was testing, right? It wouldn't have counted anyway. So let's have a look at it. Right, now as you can see, it's got fairly high damage and it has a very slow attack rate. Okay, box standard, 3 seconds, right? So it attacks once every 3 seconds, right? Now that is very, very, very slow, right, for a tower, but it does hit really, really hard, and it's also got a lot of range. Okay, so the basic range is 4,000, which is really, really, really good, right? Which means you can put it really far away and still hit enemies miles away. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is trying to turn it into this. Right, now as you can see, this range is ridiculous. This is the one that I typically use, right, and it's got 9,033 range. Right, now the range cap is 10k on this, right, so it'll max out at 10k, and the attack rate can go all the way down to 0.75, which is amazing. Right, so let's jump into it. So the Earth Shatter, right, now for me the most important thing on any tower when you're doing your ascension is your speed. Right, defense speed is at the bottom of the middle tree, your defense tree. Right, so you always, if you're building a damaging tower, you want to put your first 20 points straight into speed. Okay, because that is going to bring the attack rate down to 1.95, right, which is a lot better than the 3 seconds it was at. Right, now with that in mind, you might get lucky as you're playing, and you might find, I'm pretty sure I haven't got one up here, so I'm going to have to go over here. You might find a defense rate. Now that's a defense range. We'll get into that in a moment. But the defense rate, where is it? I know I've got one somewhere. There we go. Right, now a perfect 10 out of 10 defense rate is preferable, but the chances of you finding one of them early game is very low. Right, but if you do find something with defense rate on it, ideally you want to be throwing it on this, right, because we'll go with that. I know it's a 10 out of 10, but we'll move it across to the Earth Shatter, and as you can see, that's now gone down to 0.83, right, which is not quite at max, but when you get a defense rate on there with, you know, just a any tier really from 1 to 10 defense rate, you should be okay. You'll be getting closer and closer to that. And as you can see, the DPS, considering it's got no damage on it, it's shot up a lot. Right, let me just, it's got anti-melee, so that wouldn't be doing anything anyway. So yeah, that has gone up to 1.41 million DPS, right, which is insane. Right, so let's revert this back to normal. We'll take that off, and I shall go and lock it off so that I don't end up selling it. Right, so yes, once we've done the speed, naturally what you want to be doing is working on the defense crit chance, the defense crit damage. Okay, and then any other points in middle tree want to be going into the damage. Right, that makes sense, unless, right, you are using, let me just throw, I'm just going to throw that on there just for, you know, the purpose of showing you. Now you do have, and there we go, right, Vampiric Empowerment. Now this increases the defense power by 60% of its defense health when it's full. Now this is a Chaos 5 shard, so this isn't really effective until Chaos 5, right, but yeah, you can throw this on, and then you want to be doing up, let's say you've maxed out the defense power, which is what you can physically put in it. You can then start putting it into health and use this to ramp up your attack even more, essentially. Right, so yeah, it does work. It's really good combo as well. So let's get rid of that. we'll unequip that, and we shall unequip that. Right, so yes, that's if you're using Vampiric. But to start off with, what you want to do, speed, these two, defense crit chance and defense crit damage, and then you want everything else into your damage. Okay, now the range gambit on the Earth Shatter is, in my opinion, a necessity, right? Because this thing hits really hard and it's already got a huge range. Okay, so if you max this out, it goes from 4,000 to 6,000 range. Okay, now that is insane. Really is insane. And as you can see, the attack speed's just at a 1.95, 142k. Right, but that range then means you can put it even further back, so it's even more out of harm's way. So from here, you could hit Proteus with it, let's say. Right, so for me, the attack speed, because the attack rate on this is very, very, very slow, and the range, that's what you really need to be looking at getting done first. Okay, now let's talk, that was the wrong one, about Shards and Mods for this. Now you can get a mod, as you can see there, called Shatter Quake, right? Now that is amazing, because the Earth Shatter, as standard, is a single target tower. Okay, so it'll only hit one target at a time. Now with this, Shatter Quake, it gives it an AoE, right? So let's go and throw this one down here, and you can visibly see it. That little area there, it will do an area of effect, right? Which is huge. Right, it's a big deal for a single target defense to be able to hit multiple targets then, because yeah, at tier 9 it's hitting 414k, right? But it's not really about how much it's hitting as such. It's just the fact that you've then turned it into a defense that hits more than one target. As you can see, it's got that there. Now you can also get, which is why it was on here, I shall go over to this dude, just throw that on, that'll do. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Right, you can get a shard called Earth Toss, right, at Chaos 4. Now, this thing is absolutely amazing, and it works really well with Shatterquake, okay, because not only does it give it a chance to knock the enemies into the air, it also gains damage radius. Right, so if you double this up with the Shatterquake, I'll max it out now, so it's got a 100% chance to knock the enemies into the air, but it also gives it 280 damage area. Right, now, as far as I'm aware, this isn't visible, but, saying that, did I put the right one down? I did. So there we go, you can see it, so there is, or is that the lingering? Just give it a few seconds. Let me just get rid of it, just to make sure. So you can, right? So that is your 280 area. Plus with your Shatterquake, if you add Shatterquake on it, so you're gaining quite a lot of area damage, right? Which, again, for this defense is huge. That's really what you want, right? Now, typically, you want to run your Destruction, like normal, and Deadly Strikes and Defense rate, right? So, have I got a, chances are I haven't, oh I do, look, there we go, normal destruction, right? Now, the Deadly Strikes is entirely up to you. I mean, like, with the attack range of 6,000, as you can already see, it's fine, right? With the attack rate all the way down, it's already hitting really good, and the 6,000 range, I mean, really, that is good enough, right? I mean, you can't really ask, well, you can get 4,000 more range out of it, but that is more than enough for starters, right? Now, you can max it out. This one isn't maxed out. This one's set at 9,000 range, and as you can see, you can't even see the end of it, right? So let's go, there we go. So the end of the range now is well down near the Enchantress, right? That is ridiculous. It's so good, because you can put these all the way back, and you know, they're just well out of harm's way. So, yeah, that is pretty much the basics of it. So, naturally, you've just completed your campaign, or you're going through campaign, you just throw anything on it that you can, okay? That's just normal. If you find a defense rate or a relic with a defense rate servo on it, I would recommend throwing it on the Earth Shatter if you're using the Earth Shatter, if you're actively using it. If you're not, then it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, but if you are actively using it, defense rate on here as soon as you get one. And then your destruction, yeah, to start off with, it's going to hit really slow, okay? If there's nothing you can do about that until you get to Chaos 4 and you can start farming for your defense rates, unless you get really lucky and get a tier 10 defense rate, right? And, you know, you'd be well on your way. So, yeah, that being said, what I'm going to do is take this quickly into the match and I will show it off in all of its glory. So, yeah, see you in a second, guys. Okay, so we're in a map. I chose the throne room because there are no flying troops, right? Unless you lose your objective bits. So let's go ahead. And as you can see, look, straight away I can put these so far away. It's unreal, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple here like this. And then they do cost 60 DU as well, right? Which is a lot, but they are worth it, right? They do hit really, really, really hard, and in my opinion, they are 100% worth it, right, for the 60 DU. So what I'm going to do is throw, you know what, we'll go one on each then. I'm going to throw a couple there like that, and then I'm going to throw one there, and then I will go over the shards in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to throw a couple there, and what I am also going to do is throw a couple of blockades down, just because, you know, this is what I would typically do. Alright, so let's quickly grab him. And here we go, right? So I'm going to throw blockade there, and I'm going to throw one just over here. It's just to stop them getting through, right? More than anything, just so these things can actually do what they are intended to do, in my opinion, right? And this is what I would typically do if I'm using the Earth Shatters. I would put some form of wall down, right, just to make sure that they're definitely not getting through. So, yeah, right, we'll go with that, and I will fill the rest up. Now, you may be thinking, because if I go over here, right, I haven't got it on, so I'm going to go to this dude and take the Earth Toss off. You know what, I may as well clear him up. Right, so you might be thinking, so why would you have Earth Toss? Because you can double it up with the Skyguard Tower, and, you know, when you knock the enemies up, the Skyguards will shoot at them. But, right, if you do run this, the Earth Toss, you are gaining the damage radius. Okay, so yes, we've lost a bit of a range, as you can see. You know, it's not as far now, right? But you can still use this to gain the radius if you so choose, right? So you can always bear that in mind. You might think, right, well, there's no flying troops, but you're gaining that defense radius. Okay, now I'm going to throw the Vicious Strikes back on, which is your second hyper shard you get. Okay, I think it's 155 stars from Mastery, but Mastery is like real end game sort of stuff because it's crazy strong. Hard to do. Right, so let's throw one more there, and we'll throw one more there. Right, and then we're out of DU, and then I'll probably upgrade both of these middle ones. Okay, now we can do this, and as you can see, the enemies will spawn in and they're already getting hit. I forgot about the kobolds, right, but that's fine, I can deal with that. Right, we're not really looking at, I've messed our lane up now, right. It's fine. Right, but as you can see, they are spawning in and just getting absolutely hammered from, you know, their spawn zone, pretty much. As you can see, look, the Shatter Quake's going off, so it's damaging more than one of them. And overall, you know, they do a really good job, considering you would never just use the Earth Shatters as I am here. It's not a thing, you would never do it. Unless you've got, I don't know, real issues. But, yeah, as you can see, right, it can more than hold its own. Right, just attacking from that far away, just on their own. Now, obviously, you would have flameovers and stuff like that, but, yeah, they're not even getting a real chance to get out of spawn, and they're just getting annihilated. Fully annihilated. So, yeah, guys, that is the beginner's guide to the lovely Earth Shatter Tower. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, guys.